today we're talking about how to find work as a copywriter and how to quickly start your copywriting career, because the sooner you can get a client, the sooner you get some confidence, some money, and that momentum starts to kick in. It's not as hard as you think. But first up, you need to think about what kind of copywriting role do you want? Do you want to work as a freelancer? Do you want to work within an in-house organization as a writer? Or do you want to work for an advertising agency? They all require specific strategies to get started. But first up, so let's talk about what are the pros and cons of working for yourself versus working for some of those kinds of organizations. Well, I can speak with great authority on all of them because I've done all of them. So let me talk about benefits of working for yourself. And I've been doing that for many, many years, 30 years to be exact. So the upside, and there's lots of them, which is probably why you're in the copy club. So first up, you can work when you want, wherever you want, how often you want, with people you want, charge what you want. You can turn down clients, more importantly, and you can, I guess, go at your own pace. You can make as much money as you want. You know, you don't have to sort of follow the timetable of your boss. There's no commute. You know, you don't have to worry about meetings that you don't want to attend, and you can achieve a great deal just by not attending meetings in your organization. So there's lots of upsides for working for yourself. The downsides are not even the downsides, but the alternative side to that, the other price, I guess, for working for yourself is you have to find work. You have to find your clients. You have to stay motivated. You have to be able to manage lots of different projects, different skill sets at the time, because you are a mini advertising agency in some respects. So there's a couple of pros and cons there, but most people, you know, are on the side of working for themselves. And it's only when they get into it that they realize, oh, there's a little bit more to it, you know, like fixing the photocopier or getting your computer backed up, you know, all these things that you take for granted within an organization. But truly, they are small prices to pay for the joy, the freedom, the independence of working for yourself. And the sooner you can accept that that's just the price of working for yourself, the sooner you'll start to enjoy everything about working for yourself. So let's talk about ad agencies or in-house, and I'll sort of lump them in together. The benefit of that is you've got a regular income. You turn up and you still get paid generally. You know, get given lots of opportunities for professional development. You have a community, you have a connection, you have networks. You get maybe stretched further than what you might stretch yourself if you're just working for yourself. So there's a room for progression, of course, and then to move to other companies because you've got this great portfolio. So there's lots of advantages to that. The downside or the negatives or the alternative thinking about working for others is pretty much all the things I just talked about for working for yourself, which is you do have to play to other people's time frame. You have to march to their drumbeat. You may have to work and respect and, you know, negotiate with people you don't really like. And when I say respect, you don't have to respect them, but you have to act like you respect them. And you have to get the commute on the train, get dressed up. I shouldn't say get dressed because most of us do get dressed during the day. But yeah, there's dressing and there's dressing, isn't there? No makeup for the more mature ones in the audience. That's a real asset, is not to have to get the full war paint on every day, and the hair. I mean, there's expenses with trying to look, you know, corporate. So these are the sorts of, I guess, the downsides. And some people really like that. You know, it just depends on your particular persuasion. So it comes down to, what do you want? And you can maybe have both. You know, in some of the situations with my students, say they've already got a corporate job and they want to be a freelancer. And I say, well, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, stick with the corporate job, try and maybe go down to 3 days a week. And then on the other 2 days, you can build your copywriting business so that you've got this nice secure income, but you've also got this little bit of freedom as well, so that you can have a little bit of a, you know, entrepreneurial flair to try and build that business while you're not stressing about paying the rent. Because one thing I do know as a copywriter, you do not want to be in a fearful state when you're writing copy or trying to find clients, because it is not a good mindset to be in. And it doesn't sort of, creativity does not thrive when you're fearful as to whether you can pay the bills. And also, you tend to allow yourself to be treated less than respectfully when you are desperate. You know, you'll say yes to anything, you'll take whatever feedback you get, you won't push back, you won't hold your ground, and all the things that makes a good copywriter good. And so that's not a good starting point for being a copywriter, is when you're scared that you will lose the job. So there's some of the the bigger picture about what you want. But let's talk about ways that you can find work quickly. And I sort of touched on it just now. If you're working for an organization, there could be opportunities to actually write copy for them. I was just on the phone to a woman who's enrolling in one of our courses, and she already works for an insurance company. And she said, but I'm always writing their copy. I'm writing the emails, I'm writing the newsletters, I'm writing the blogs. And she said, I'm not getting paid for it, but I just do it because I really enjoy it. And they think I'm pretty good at it. So I said, that is a brilliant situation, because you're able to take the passion that you have for words, bring it to your existing organization so they can merge. So you are creating a portfolio of work for yourself when you do leave. You're getting experience that's kind of no pressure, because the company don't expect you to be amazing because you're doing it as a gift. And also you get the opportunity to get into the company's sort of marketing world, so you can understand what they're doing, and you can potentially become an expert on that topic when you leave for this woman insurance. So if you're already in a company, explore the opportunity of talking to somebody, maybe the boss, people in the marketing, people, maybe in HR, who've got some say as to whether you can actually create copy. You could even just write it and submit it to somebody and see if it gets accepted, because often that doing it is easier than just asking for permission. Somebody can see it and go, that's amazing. Why don't we use that? Rather than saying, do you mind if I, and then they have all these sorts of reasons why you can't. So sometimes just do it. And it's all good experience. No matter what happens, you writing something is good experience. So within the organization, try and get that. I've seen many students of mine actually do that. And then they say, after some period of time where they've had some success, to the boss, hey boss, what would it be like if I actually left the company and you got me off your books and you paid me a fraction of what you're currently paying me, but I can do this bit of the work that I've been doing, do it from home, do it as equally well as I'm doing it now, do it quicker, and you can give me more work if you want, and you just pay me, a fraction of what you were paying me, and I don't do the other stuff that you were paying me to do. So that you can have this first client. And that's how many people get started. That's their first client, is the company that they worked for. And they already know the company, they know the client, everything's sweet, because you don't have to start from scratch. So there's one idea. Another idea is get your business card printed. And I've been saying this for about 20 years to all my students, and it is the number one strategy that gets them work. Let me explain. If you have a business card that says copywriter, and you give that to someone, that is an instant credentialed moment where that person's going, well, you say you're a copywriter, you must be a copywriter. And even if you're thinking, I'm not really, I'm just trying and I'm just learning, the fact that you're giving that is a sign of confidence. Now, it's very rare that that person comes back at you saying, are you really a copywriter? What's your experience? What's your proof that you're a copywriter? It's very rare that that happens. If you're in an ad agency land and you're presenting yourself as a copywriter, then obviously they will ask you for your portfolio. But this is different. This is small business. This is going about your daily life. So that card is a sort of a statement of your intent and the statement of who you believe yourself to be, even if you don't believe you're a copywriter yet. So we'll talk about the imposter syndrome throughout these videos as well, because it's such an important component. Now, all you need on that card is your name, first name, last name, your email, your phone number, and the word copywriter. And you can have other bits and pieces on the back, all the things that you might make as a copywriter. You might even have copywriter and nurse, for example, if they're the two things that you do, because you may want to do medical copywriting. But don't put that there if you don't want to be a medical copywriter, because it just makes people go, are you a nurse? You're a copywriter. So just keep it really simple. Now, you might be thinking, do I put my website on there? Well, I'd say yes, if you had one, but often starting out, you don't. So if you don't have one, it's going to take a couple of months at least to build that. So don't waste all those months of opportunities by waiting for the website URL. Just get your card printed. Vistaprint.com.au, have them for about $20. Your local snap printer, the same. It's not a big deal to spend $20 as starting up a brand new business. It's pretty cheap. And then you get those cards back and you go, oh my gosh, I'm a copywriter. And you hand out your card. Now, I don't recommend this if you're a pilot, a surgeon, or a dentist. You can't just give out a card and pretend you are it. You will get arrested. But as a copywriter, no one's caring. All they care about is you can help them do something that they can't do that helps them build their business. So that business card sounds kind of innocuous and easy, but it is truly a great technique. I'll give you a quick example of one of my students. She was doing my course. She got the card printed and she's still feeling like I'm an imposter. I shouldn't really be doing this. But she went into a shop and she was just looking at the clothing in the shop for her children. And she got talking to the business owner, which is another strategy. Get talking, tell people what you do. And the business owner said, what do you do? And she said, I'm a copywriter. And the inevitable question, oh, what's that? Is that like intellectual property, trademarks? Oh, no, no, no. We write copy for websites so that you can get more traffic and get more customers and make more sales and make more money. So you kind of even have that little line prepared. It's a script that you can use. And they'll go, oh, and you can see their eyes light up because I've never even heard of copywriters half the time. Oh, a copywriter. Oh, and they're thinking about their business and their emails and their website that they've been trying to do themselves. And so therefore, you give that card to that person and they look at it and you can see them looking at it, ticking over. And then that little conversation can move into, well, you know, what kind of help can I help you with? And you can go through the whole sales script, which is a subject, another topic. But that just gets the conversation started. And then this particular woman I'm referring to, another woman walked in and overheard the conversation and said, can I have your card as well? Because I need a copywriter. So she almost had two clients in her pocket just with one conversation. This is a true story and it actually has a third part. She went home and she had a phone call from the school, from her children, and they were saying, look, you've been writing the minutes for the school for a couple of years and we really love your quirky style. We actually have some need to write a prospectus and some emails for the school. Would you be interested? So she had like kind of 3 opportunities on the one day. Now that third one wasn't because of the card, but it was because she'd been doing some free volunteer work, which we'll talk about in a sec as well. So that business card is really important in terms of giving people the confidence and credentials to choose you, not to mention when they go home and they check out the card, they're thinking about you, they've got something to hold on to remember you by. Now you might be thinking, why don't we just use LinkedIn? You know, these digital CVs really. And that's all well and good. And I highly recommend you have a LinkedIn profile, but there are limitations because when you're talking to someone, and I've seen this happen so many times for myself, you're talking to somebody and they say, and I say, have you got a card? And they go, no, look me up on LinkedIn. Okay, if I must. And I say, but what's your name? I don't know your name. And then they kind of write it down for me, or they give me their lanyard, you know, at a conference, and they say, just scan my card. So I scanned my name. So I scanned the lanyard and that goes into some file somewhere and I can't remember their name. So I can't even access it from my address book because I don't remember their name. So this whole LinkedIn thing is great, but from a exchange of information and keeping remembered by somebody, it lacks a little. So get your business cards printed. I don't know what number we're up to, but let's say the next point in finding work is do what that woman I was just mentioning did. Do some volunteer work or some contra work. Contra is when you exchange your services for their product. So if you're a copywriter and you're working for a hairdresser, you get a free haircut. And in terms of creating contacts and networks, if you offer yourself for free to create some material for the footy club, the netball club, the kinder, you know, a charity, anything you might be interested in that you've got some knowledge of, it'll be very warmly received because most people don't know how to write copy. And also it builds those relationships and a lot of goodwill. And when they are ready to hire someone, you could be that person. For me, just over the football club across the way from where I live, I did some free work for the club. And then when they wanted a sponsorship manager to go out and create some proposals, the first person they turned to was me, you know, to write these for a paid gig. So just know that volunteer can lead to paid work as well. The next thing I'd ask you to think about is your network. You know, people say, I want to work in America or in Asia. I say, start local. There's so much work probably in your street, in your neighborhood, in your suburb that will keep you occupied for months without having to look further afield to people that you don't know. So think about your immediate family, you know, partners, cousins, nieces, nephews, all the people within your family network. Who's got a business that might need some copy? Who's thinking about building a business that will need some copy? Who's already got a website that you know is a little bit lame? So there's opportunities within your family and you can just say, hey, Uncle Greg, whatever. Hey, I'm a copywriter now. You know me as a nurse, but I'm retraining as a copywriter. I'm looking for a business to work on. And what you'll get in return for working with me is 3 blogs and 2 pages of website copy. would you be interested in just having an hour's conversation with me so that I can get started? I mean, how can they say no to that? It's in everybody's interest. And therefore, you've got that experience of working with a client, using all the content and the templates that you'll get in this copy club, and not being under pressure to deliver, because often it's the pressure to deliver that really freaks copywriters out when they're starting. And therefore, they don't actually engage with clients because they don't want the pressure, which means they don't get the experience. So work for free, but choose companies and people that you enjoy, that you like, so that you're not doing it under duress, you're not feeling stressed, and you're actually learning about a topic that you're interested in or you know already about. So that's one idea. And then you can even go further afield and you think all the people you worked with, and maybe you're a mum now, or you're working from home part-time, or you've stepped out of the workforce, but you think of all the people you did work with. Wouldn't it be great to re-engage with them and connect and say, look, this is what I'm doing now. If you or know anyone who might want copy, please contact me. Now, we'll talk more about that strategy a bit later, but I just wanted to let you know that that external network is also very important. So there's tons of ways in which you can get started. You don't need a website, but you just need that little card. So I'm hoping that gives you a few little hints and tips on how to get started very, very quickly.